Today, I want to talk about an obscure series that I have a personal connection to, which is called Game Over from the year 2004. I first came across Game Over when I was a kid, and I watched it on DVD. I found the concept of the show set in a video game world fascinating, I guess, but looking back on it as an adult, it's very clear that this series is just not very good. Despite its unique premise, Game Over failed to make good on its potential, and it was ultimately canceled after just 6 episodes. I don't even think they aired the 6th episode. It just, it lasted 1 season, which those are like my favorite bad shows to cover, like that Charlie's Angels series from 2011 that lasted 1 season. I love shows like that. That's pretty bad. It's pretty bad to get canceled after just 1 season. But when you watch the show, you understand why. There's really not much to explore with these characters. They barely can make 6 episodes out of it, much less multiple seasons.
Remember what happened when my dad banned you from seeing me?
Yeah.
The characters are so thin, there's nothing you can really do with the show. So over the course of this review, I want to explore this largely obscure animated sitcom and why it failed so spectacularly. Game Over aired in 2004, like I said, on the network UPN, which was struggling at the time and was eventually shut down in 2006. The show just demonstrated UPN's inability to maintain a consistent audience and have compelling programming. There are a few notable people on the cast for sure, such as Patrick Warburton as the father, Rip Smashburn.
Kids, Turbo has outgrown city life.
There were other notable people on the cast, such as Rachel Dratch. And speaking of Charlie's Angels, it also stars Lucy Liu.
But nothing compares to the horror of walking out of a pyramid and seeing your own daughter picketing you. It was humiliating.
However, the characters really lacked any development or charm. There are also guest appearances, such as Common.
Common here. When I'm not rapping about the virtues of medicinal marijuana, aka the chronic.
Other guest appearances include Jeffrey Tambor as Dr. Zed, I don't know what the fuck that is, Tom Kenny, and Jennifer Coolidge. So the show basically follows a family in a video game world. Structure-wise, it's very similar to a show like The Simpsons or Family Guy, where you just kind of follow the family members and their daily struggles and drama. In the first episode, they also adopt a fucking weird purple thing called Turbo.
I don't know about you, but for me, that was tremendously awkward.
Turbo is voiced by Artie Lang. I don't really want to go into what happened to him and whatever, because that's a whole video in and of itself. But I just hope he's doing all right, and nothing against him or anything like that.
So Moody Judy, why the pity party?
He's, I guess, the family pet, and he's meant to provide humor throughout the series. I put humor in many, many quotation marks, an infinite amount of quotation marks. There's so many episodes and storylines that focus on Turbo.
Worst picnic ever.
One of the worst ones, he hooks up with a rabbit or whatever. So he tries to just ditch her, but she goes to his house and stalks him. He's trying to get rid of her the whole episode, and it's just nothing funny is happening that whole time. Really, I think a huge problem with Game Over is that instead of embracing its concept of being like a video game and being in a video game world and having lots of video game jokes, it just kind of falls into the predictable sitcom cliches that you expect with a show like this. It does feel a bit disconnected from its own premise, which is a shame, because the show, in a way, was kind of ahead of its time, and that's maybe why a lot of people watched it and had a connection with it, as far as the people who saw it on DVD and watched it when it came out. Because there are a couple people who have this kind of nostalgic attachment to the show, maybe, and I don't want to say that the show sucks, but at the same time, it's kind of bad, and it's a lot of these people are going to look at it through rose-tinted glasses, right? Because they're very nostalgic about it. But it's very flawed. One of the biggest things that has aged poorly is the animation. The animation is just really dated and bad throughout the entire show. It just looks terrible. And it has no shading or shadows really, and it's Nothing has like a texture to it. Everything's just like kind of flat looking, and it might be trying to mimic the aesthetics of early video games at that time, which, 3D games at the time were sort of blocky and weird looking, but it just kind of looks like a bad 3D animated show from like the early 2000s, which is exactly what it is. Episode 6 didn't even air, and there's also a pilot episode that you can't watch at all. Like, it didn't air. I don't think it's available on any DVD or anything, but the 6th episode that didn't air, you can find that. I think that was on the DVD. That's on YouTube. So we'll be sure to go over that one, but it's just funny. They gave up on it after the 5th episode. They're like, no one's watching this. Let's just like give up. It's all just like too jokey. Like, you don't care about these characters or anything that's happening. Lame is the best word to describe the show, to describe the humor, the storylines. They're not really connected to the kind of video game theme. It just feels like an average sitcom. Even the main character, he's just a race car driver. It isn't something like super video game related. They make a couple of video game jokes and references like, oh, your aunt had to be rescued by the Mario Brothers or something like that.
He was too obsessed with fixing toilets while gorillas hurled barrels at him.
Mario?
Oh, it was no Mario. Not by a long shot. He never let me forget it.
What is this, Vice City?
What is this, Vice City?
A lot of these episodes are so forgettable. They're just like, you watch them and you go like, oh, okay, I guess they like go camping or something.
You eat magic cookies in my house? We didn't eat them, Mom! This is what you mean by being open with me? Lying to my face?
At one point, the girls in Alice's school, like, start copying the way she dresses because they think she's cool, how she doesn't, like, expose her body and dresses in a sweatshirt or whatever. But it's like, okay, we're in the first season of the show. It's not like this character is iconic, like, oh, girls are gonna walk around in real life dressed as her, with the camo sweatshirt, of course, but that didn't happen because no one watched the show. The 5th episode is called Alice and the CATs. The CATs are supposed to be like the SATs. It's like a standardized test where do you get to be like a main character like Lara Croft, or do you get to be like a spectator, like one of those people who's like off to the side in like a skiing game, like one of the spectators off to the side of the game where you don't really play as, you just like see them in the background. That's what the CATs determine, is what kind of role you will get in video games. And Alice does really bad on the test, even though her mom did really well on it, and the mom's annoyed.
She got the lowest score in the entire school.
What?
Meanwhile, Billy falls in love with some character from an anime.
Dear Suki, I saw you when you was flying. I saw your big colors and your rainbow. I was nearly dying. When my family goes out for Japanese, I used to say hot dog.
Instead of being a show about a video game that's an adult sitcom, it's just like this generic show about this family, then they like have issues. As far as the 6th episode, the mom has conflict with her own mom, who's like a deadbeat loser who was arrested, but now she's back with her dad and they have to like reunite with their daughter. It's trying to give a backstory to this character that we don't care about at all. So like I said, episode 6 didn't air. They just didn't even bother. They're just like, no one's watching this. Don't even, and we'll make it a bonus episode on the DVD.
Well, you must be my son-in-law, really.
Ma'am?
Man, my ass.
Man, these jokes suck.
Raquel, you look fantastic.
Torso!
Raquel, you look fantastic.
All the dad says, like his joke in this episode is, he says, Raquel, you look fantastic.
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 She put kidney beans in the cookies.
Oh, but I didn't have chocolate chips, so I used kidney beans.
What?
Raquel, you look fantastic.
And that is game over. A complete and utter failure. What a shame. Its brief run on a struggling network ensured it was forgotten quickly, and revisiting it now only highlights how poorly it's really held up. Would I recommend Game Over? No, not at all. You can watch it for free on YouTube if you want. It feels like it's a relic from a bygone era. It's a cautionary tale.
It doesn't get any better than this.
It does get better, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
I did used to own the DVD, which I don't have now. I don't believe I do. I mean, I guess I could try looking for it. But yeah, if I find it, I'll let you know. I don't know how I got the DVD. Maybe I got it at like Walmart or something. Some shit like that. By the way, do you want a movie scented candle? Because we sell them. moviecandles.com/Etsy or whatever. No, that's not the URL. The URL is right there. I'm gonna burp. The URL is right there. We have many different scents that you will love, such as Road to Emerald City, inspired by The Wizard of Oz. Arctic Isolation, inspired by The Thing. Haunted Hotel, inspired by The Shining. This one's very popular, has a very sweet scent. So check out Movie Candles! Check them out! Please check them out!